Hi everyone, thanks for joining. It's Patty with PS Paper Crafts, and I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty card. This set is beautiful. It has a big huge stamp, which I'm not using, and then these great sentiments, and then there's a coordinating die that goes with it. So there's actually two of them, and we're going to use both of these big ones. So the new in color Misty Moonlight is this thin outline of it, and I use this. And then this is an inside piece, and I have Seaside spray. I use that, and then I colored in the leaf area. So we'll go ahead and make this card, also using Daffodil Delight. I love these dies. They're just beautiful, and they just barely fit on the card. I mean, if you wanted to turn it a different way, you could cut the leaves off, but it really takes over the whole card, which is pretty cool. I like things like that. It makes a quick card. So let's get our pieces together. I have my card base, which is the Misty Moonlight. It's a really pretty color. And then I have my Daffodil Delight piece. And the first thing I'll do is my die cutting. I am going to do it off camera, and I'll come back. So these are the ones I did before. So what I'll do is I'll take this thin one, and I'm going to put it on this, and then this kind of more filled in one, and I'll put it on this. And you kind of have to turn it around. So they do take up a large piece. So I'll just put it on my plates, make my sandwich, run it through, and I will be back. Okay, so I'm back. I cut this one out, and I already got all the pieces out. It took a little bit of time, but it did come out as very delicate. Let me just pull it off. Isn't that pretty? And I did run it through a couple of times, and I actually turned it over and ran it through this way as well. And if you find that your pieces are not coming out and you have to cut it again, you could just put it back in, and you want to make sure you get it all in where you could feel it kind of like click into place, and then you could run it through again. Oh, I missed one here. Let me see if I can get that one. So I'm going to just use my, where is it? Right there. Is that it? Yep. There you go. So, and then they have the couple that are release areas. So just pull it out. Very delicate, but isn't that beautiful? You could just do this. Wouldn't that be pretty? So delicate. So on this one, I didn't take everything out yet, and I just wanted to show you. I have the brush, which comes with the foam mat, and you can just, while it's in the die, you don't want to do it after it's out of the die, and you just can go over everything, and it comes out. And if you can't get all the pieces out that way, you can just poke them out. Let's see. There we go. There was a piece caught or something. So let's see. There's a couple of pieces not out, but it did pretty good. Okay, so now we have this piece. Let me put my die back, put this aside. That's a great tool. So we're going to put this together, and we really need, I wish I had my silicone mat, and actually what would be really nice is to use one of the adhesive sheets that you can just peel and put behind before you die cut, and you would put it, you don't want it on the light blue because you don't want all the adhesive showing, but you could put it on something that's very narrow, tiny border like this. If you cut it, then you could just peel off the back and lay it down, but you have to be very careful that you lay it down exactly where it should be, right, because you won't be able to lift it up. So that's why I do like the liquid glue. And Stampin' Up! Is coming out with their new catalog came out today. I didn't even mention that, so it goes live today, and they have some new adhesives. They have a adhesive foam piece that is like a dimensional, but you can cut it. You could die cut with it. So instead of being cut for you, and then instead of the snail, the tape runners, they have stamp and seal, and they have two kinds. There's the stamp and seal, which is your normal for cards, and then there's stamp and seal plus, which is for like boxes and bags and things that need a really strong. I don't know if any of you remember the old fast fuse. A lot of people use that. A lot of people didn't like it because you had to kind of run it and check it, and people, I think, struggled with that. But it was very strong adhesive and good for boxes, and they stopped making that. So I'm glad that they came out with these new. I think this has got a little bit of goobers on it. Okay, get rid of that. And there's also a new die and embossing machine. So there's lots of new stuff in the catalog besides the new stamps. There's a new, the new dies, the new embossing folders, all of that. There's new ink colors. If you look at my blog from yesterday, you'll see that there's, I made some cards with the new ink colors, and they're really pretty. I love them. So with the ink colors, Stampin' Up! Comes out with a new set of colors every year. There's 5 colors, and they stay for 2 years. So the ones from 2 years ago retired with the catalog that just retired, and now we have 5 new ink colors. And to be honest, I wasn't crazy about 2 years ago. I love last year's, but 2 years ago they weren't my kind of thing. They were clover green and lovely lipstick I like. There's a pineapple punch, but those all blueberry, I don't even know, blueberry something. But those are all retired. So now we have the new ones, and I have to learn those names. But they're really pretty. The bumblebee, that was in the early release of one of the products that they had, one of the sweets. That was one of the colors that was in there. It's very pretty colors, kind of fall colors. So I'm just trying to get this dabbed a little bit everywhere so that it will stick down well. So let's now put this down. So you don't want to put a lot of the glue on, but you want it to be on the edges mainly. So now I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to just make sure I move it and make sure all the pieces are in place. And see, the liquid glue gives you that little bit of time, where if you did that adhesive strip or sheet, you would have to really make sure you put it down perfectly. So that looks good. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. So the next thing I did was I colored the leaves. You don't have to do that if you like it like this, but I kind of felt like the leaves should be green. That's the difference. So you pick the way you like it if you're going to make this card. So I'm just going to take my Stampin' Blend, and it's Granny Apple Green, and it's the dark one. And I'm not concerned if it gets into the ridge of it. You can see that I didn't stay within the light blue, but that didn't bother me. So I tried to do it before I attached the top layer, and there was a lot of areas that I wasn't sure about, and it didn't quite work out well, and I didn't want to make this too many times. So I'm going to speed this up and just color all the leaves with the Granny Apple Green. Okay, I think I got them all. So now we will put this on the yellow, the Daffodil Delight. And this is a little bit easier to glue down because the back is a little bit bigger. So I'm going to just quickly add some glue here. Okay, so now we're ready to put it down just on the yellow. So let's put that right here, make sure it's covering We're staying on the yellow. If it goes off a little bit, it's okay because we've got just 1/8 of an inch around. Not even 1/8. I think it's 1/16 of an inch. So it could go over a little tiny bit. So let's put this on, and then we want to do our sentiments. So this one says, sure do miss you, and I'm going to make this next one thinking of you, because I think they fit really nice in that size. And I have the stamp mounted, thinking of you, and a piece of scrap, and I'm going to use black memento ink. You could use any of the colors, but I just wanted to go with the black at this point. And I'm going to do it this way. Okay. And I know it's crooked, but when I put my punch, and I could never remember this as label me fancy or label me, oh, I'm so bad. It will be in my blog, pspapercrafts.com. So I'm going to just punch this, and then I'm just going to mark it with a pencil so I can get these little holes in it to feed this twine through. So I'm just going to put a little dot where I want the hole to be, just as a guide, and then I'll punch the hole with this. It has a slot and a hole. So if you see here, it's got the tag and then the hole in the slot. So I'm just going to look where my dots are and punch it. And then I'll do the same on the other side. Sometimes I just wing it, but I felt like I wanted to get this just right. So there we go. And then the ribbon that I'm using is, it's part of a 3-pack, and I should have had the other ones with me. So it has like a gingham, and then it has this blue and silver, kind of like a baker twine, and then there's a white, like a linen kind of look. So I'm going to just feed this through front to back, and let me just cut this. Some of that silver is coming off and it's making it hard, so I'm going to go front to back. Easier said than done here. That'll be on the back, so it doesn't matter. And then back to front. And I guess it would be nice if I had a needle or something like that. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to wrap this around. And I'm going to wrap it 3 times. So it's got 1, and then we'll go 2, and then we'll go 3. And I'm doing it where the one through the holes is in the middle. I don't think it really matters, but that's what I wanted to do. So we'll wrap it around 3 times, and then I'm going to cut it with my ribbon scissors. And then I'm going to scotch tape it in the back, and then I'll kind of fuss with it. Actually, before I do that, let me just put my dimensionals on. I did the other card and I had to add the dimensionals after, and you know, live and learn. I got them done, but it just was a little bit harder than it would be right this way. So I have to be a little bit more careful about where I lie it down once I take the dimensionals off. So let's take these off. Maybe this will be the worst way to do it. We'll find out. Okay. So let's get it in place where we want it without pushing it down. And then we'll push it down. So I wanted this piece in the middle. Maybe the other way was easier. You know what, the pieces are getting stuck on it. Let's see. So that looks good. We're going with it. So now I will put this in the back. And then I'm going to tie a bow. That's why I offset it a little bit. So let's get this done. And let's make sure this looks good before I tape it down. Okay. That's down. And then let's tie a bow, and we'll put it right over here. I was going to do like, you know, I do sometimes 2 or 3 strands to make my bow, but I decided this is kind of glitzy, and I thought it was, the one strand was very pretty, and we didn't need to go any further than that. Okay, and we'll cut the tails. Too long. Let's cut them again. Okay, and then I'm going to put a glue dot on the back, and we'll just press it on, and then we can attach this whole thing to the card. But I love the colors, and I love this die. I'm going to have to make a card with just the stamp, and I believe you could stamp it and then put one of these on the outside of it. Have to play with that. I believe it all works that way. So maybe tomorrow I'll have another card. So let's get the glue on this. I'm loving this Misty Moonlight. It's really beautiful. I just want to make sure it opens the right way. Press that down. And you could put some, oops, I opened it the wrong way. If you wanted to, you could put some pearls or some gems or something like that on rhinestones. But I didn't think it needed it because this has the silver shine to it. So I thought that was good enough. And then on the inside, I just stamped some flowers with the flower stamps. So there's 2 different flowers, and then there's the leaf, and then I think that's the inside for these flowers. That's the inside for these flowers. So I'm going to go along with the blue and yellow theme. So we'll stamp some of the flowers in yellow, and then the centers in blue. And then we'll add some granny apple green leaves. So I have my flowers. And I'm going to do 3 on the bottom and 2 on top. And I want to give them a little bit of space so that we can fit some leaves in. And I'll do 2 of this style. Okay, and then we'll do 2 up here. All right, and put the yellow away. Get the Seaside spray for the centers. We'll just stamp all of those in. It's a nice combination of colors, don't you think? Kind of cheerful. And then we'll do some green leaves with the granny apple green. And then we just put this inside and we are done. So I'm going to just stamp them here and there. And okay, there we go. I didn't put a sentiment in. You know me, I don't do sentiments on this type of card until I know who I'm sending it to. And usually I wouldn't put a sentiment on anyway. I would just write, you know, just a personal note in there. But you could. I think you could put Sure Do Miss You, Thinking of You together, actually. Or hello. There's a hello. Sure Do Miss You. So you can do a lot of different sentiments or whatever other stamp sets you have. Isn't that pretty? I love it. Love them both. This is just really a gorgeous set. So anyway, thanks for joining me. And don't forget, today the catalog launched. If you don't have one and you need one, give me an email, patty@pspapercrafts.com. I will also have an online version on my website. And then from my website, you can shop and you can see all the new products just by going to the online store. But thanks a lot for joining, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.